Find out if we're live. Doot, 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 doot.
Noises. Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Feel ready now after that chord. That.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, I
It's
think I'm
beautiful.
learning this audio balance here. What do I have here? Okay.
We're musicians.
We are musicians.
See,
Hello and welcome to the Hangout with Musicians podcast. I'm Ben Brown.
I'm Megan Simper.
Welcome home.
Allie Harris.
And Allie
Oh, Ben, you
Harris.
didn't wait for me.
Yeah, I think we just need to put it in there because that's like it's just the most natural thing. And Allie Harris. Welcome home. This is the podcast. This is the podcast where we spend good quality intentional time with our musician friends so that you can enjoy them too. This is an experimental live version of this, and we are building the plane as we fly. So, yeah, help us
Live.
help us make it good as we're doing it. I have this nasty cold. Who knows if it's the thing or not? Um,
Who
and I'll
knows?
mostly be doing technical
Nothing.
stuff. And so, Megan and Allie is both of them have a lot of knowledge. Have already built a lot of knowledge with trying to make their music more public, more online, and I think they have a lot of wisdom to share for that with like lessons or even some of the career moves that they've already moved along with. I am going to go into technical mode to make sure everything is working. You guys can discuss.
Cool.
Cool.
Well, Allie, maybe you can tell me about like where your focus is right now. Like, what are you working on these days? Well, Allie,
These
maybe you can tell me about.
days, I am working on. I guess it's been several things. It's learning how to do put music online in a way that people are able to find it. Um, like recently, I've decided on Patreon, since we're releasing music somewhat staggered, um, I'm learning how to use TuneCore is what we use to release our music. And especially lately, I've heard Bandcamp is, I don't know if this is for a time or for now, but they are not taking any cuts of music for a time. They're giving it all to the artists because of um, the current epidemic. So I thought about going on to Bandcamp and putting our music there. I've been learning about EPKs and like getting a good solid press kit to make us marketable. And we're kind of in this stage right now where it's like we're getting our original material together as far as recordings, and we have several very awesome videos, music videos, as well as what we've been working on right now is images, getting up to date images of us. And I'm excited for graphic design because then we can make graphic design is like, oh man, I feel like that's next level stuff. I'm excited for that. So we can start getting a logo made. So we can either just send a logo, but also have an image with our logo on it of us. And that's an easy poster to send out to places if we want to play. So
It should
that's
be
all in
mentioned.
mind.
It should be mentioned at this time that Allie and I are in the same band. And most of the things that she's talking about we're working together on, so we can
Correct.
that might actually be a cool thing to talk about. And just what that like communication looks like and
Absolutely.
what kind of things go on there. But Allie, can I ask you to maybe grab your your microphone that is, we can hear, I think, the sound of the cord against your clothing.
Oh, got you.
And so just to bring it out, and just if you could either hold it there or put somewhere as you're moving. and
I shall hold it.
Bless
I
you.
got it in my hands now.
Nice.
I was also
One
working
cool
on
thing about
the
this
mix.
Oh, were you?
I think we're a little bit. I think it's better now. But
Cool. Nice.
yeah. Sorry. You can go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Megan.
So I think much of this will be live and transparent troubleshooting,
Yes.
which hopefully is just like useful actually to people to go, oh, that's what that kind of sound means, or
Yes,
what buttons are we pushing? Because I think right now, especially, people are finding and really exploring this space and this means of interacting. And so
yeah. I can even
hopefully it's
share
just
my
a helpful
screen
thing,
here.
and we can be helpful by being transparent.
Yeah. Yeah, let me
doing.
talk about that. I think that'll also help me get oriented. So now I'm sharing my screen. I have this. We're using Discord to talk, and then all the audio that I'm getting, I am routing through my sound. I have a soundboard, and so I'm physically routing it into the inputs. That like I can start to kind of send it out. So we have Discord, and I can mix all of our voices, so I can grab the individual volumes. So I've done things like I lowered Allie's and like have raised Megan's. I got those mixed up, so I was doing it wrong earlier. We are streaming to Twitch, which we can now kind of see over here. I suppose these screens, maybe I should. When we have OBS over here, that'll be easier to see if I remove our faces. OBS is how I am streaming us, getting out into Twitch and YouTube. Twitch and YouTube, because I'm using a service called Ustream to like multi-stream, so I can fork the stream to Twitch and to YouTube. Although the YouTube part is not quite working out. We're solid on Twitch, but not so much YouTube. So I'm troubleshooting that. It might not have the right stream code, or stream key. So
Wow.
we'll have to see how that goes. There you go. That's the state of the tech. Been out.
Wow. I am. We are very blessed to have Ben Brown as a part of this whole thing. I mean, this wouldn't be happening straight up. We know because of all the words he used that I don't know. We know for sure that this wouldn't happen without Ben Brown. So I wrote little notes. OBS ? Ustream ? It's going to be great. Anyway, learning time for everyone.
Yeah, we're all. There's going to be a whole lot of learning to try to get this up to date, and a lot of people are going to get shoved into the modern world. But it's good. It's like it's not that scary. Like you get excited about it as you get it. Like I'm excited to hear Allie likes like the graphic design. I've gone down that rabbit hole. A great resource for that is the free Photoshop, which is it's called GIMP. It's a terrible name. GIMP. It's like graphic something modulating program, graphic image modulating program. I don't know. GIMP. And that's a great resource just to get started and kind of start to understand how layers work and how those programs operate.
Is that I feel like I used GIMP years ago and it was not incredibly user friendly. Like an example would be like an audio program such as Audacity wasn't terribly like user friendly, but it still has a lot of functions and it's a free version of, and that does the same things as many DAWs in an audio setting. Would you make that same comparison, or has it kind of gained user friendliness over the years?
I think these things are improving. I think the teams that are working on it's simpler, but like I think it's just going to be a rule of thumb for anything that's open source. So
Sure.
I've
Yeah.
spent the past year trying to use just free open source programs just to keep my like overhead zero. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I found that like yeah, there's it's easier to approach those programs as a programmer. Like if you know how to do programming, it all of a sudden it makes sense. It's like, oh, okay, I get why they did that. If you try to approach it as like a person that's like an expert in that field, it's like, what the heck are they doing? Um, so I think that's just going to be true almost
Interesting.
forever. That like because it's going to be a team of coders building it, and like they're going to be coders that are building it that are fans of something else, and they're going to be coders first. It's like
Gotcha.
that's why you're going to have
Yeah,
faders
that's
that go from
interesting.
0 to 1 instead of like using a logarithmic like dB scale or something.
Wow, I don't know what that means,
I
but
am I'm going to send out the I'm going to start texting people the link to the Twitch stream because that's the one that's working right now.
okay.
And I
Cool.
will send it to you guys, and you can spread it around.
Sure.
Uh,
Sure.
okay.
We've talked about this before, Ben, that what makes our conversations nice is that like you do have this programming and this like technical background and a technical mind, an engineering mind, and I uh have more of like a creative, like abstract, not really, that's so like for me to learn from you about that world is super valuable. That's why I mentioned like I'm concerned with things like user friendliness because
Mhm.
what I need as like a creative mind is something easy. Because if I come against barrier, I'm gonna like get frustrated and not see my project through. And so that's actually a concern just logistically with how it is that I produce content, so it's helpful, I think, to come at from both standpoints. That's like, I don't know, at a certain point, depending on what kind of person you are, you might be willing to like pay for a program
Yeah.
that is going to help you
Mm-hmm.
in that
Yeah.
area versus if you're like, no, like my goal is no overhead, I'm willing to spend some frustrating hours like figuring out how this program works. That might be the thing for you if you have that kind of brain.
Mm-hmm.
So
Allie, yeah, what side of the spectrum do you fall on? Have you have you had like a hard time learning these new things?
I guess it just depends. I feel like everyone likes certain programs. So it's for me, it's not just learning one program; it's learning 4 or 5. Um, like for the Good Time School of Music, they use Zoom, which is, I mean, it's not complex. It's just like, wow, why is there so many of these, and that I have to know how to use? um, so I would say the amount of different platforms that I'm having currently to use is more annoying than complex. It's like, why isn't there just one awesome one that everyone uses? I guess it goes into like, um,
Hmm.
some are paid for and some are free. And so I don't know. Right now, it's like I think Discord is awesome. But like the older demographic doesn't use it.
No. No.
You don't know how to. um, and so it's just like I feel like I can go one step further past user friendly. But again, if it's not user friendly, I'm also one of those people who just like, if it's easier to pay a little money each month, I'll do that. So I'm to the point where it's like, if accessibility means paying a little bit, then I will pay. a little bit for it to be
Okay.
more user friendly. But that's
Yeah.
who I am.
Yeah,
So
you you really do get something when you pay for it. The past year of trying to just keep it
I see the
free.
value.
Yeah. The past year of
Yeah.
just keeping it free has been nice. Like it's been really like pardon the pun, like freeing, because I can just I can literally, it's like, oh, okay, now I want to do nice images. It's like, okay, well, cool. I'll just go download the thing that's free, and then I'll like get like good at that, and then I'll know what's going on, or like I know what's capable, or like I can kind of more rapidly just
for
pull
sure.
these things up and do them and send them off. I also think that there's like there becomes a trade-off with accessibility that comes with like it kind of requires power. Like it requires a more up-to-date computer, where a lot of these other things are like streamlined and lightweight, and like it's thinking like a computer, and so it doesn't have this extra weight of trying to make it think in a different way that's more intuitive. I think a great example is like Pro Tools. Like after I started using Audacity, I realized that Audacity literally just sees the audio as zeros and ones, and that's it. And it's like it doesn't see it as anything else. It's just plotting zeros and ones on a plot, and then you get to go in and just completely manipulate it however you want. But with Pro Tools, it's bending over backwards to make audio act like it's on reels of tape, and like the way that you cut things, and the way that you fade them, and the way that and it's like working really hard to make it seem like you're actually sending that audio through an outboard with like compressors and EQs and things. To make that stuff real time is actually like, it's a lot of work. Like, and it's like, it's not normal for a computer to think of these things as like physical objects and have them move around. And so like there's all kinds of like simulations to try to maintain user friendliness, but like if you just think of it as a computer and just thinking of it as digital information, it's like you can kind of take shortcuts, and like you can run something on something very simple. Like I have like an old Mac Mini that's like barely doing this. I ran into some problems today, so like yeah, but if you can just kind of get started.
Totally. Like I've used iMovie on my computer. I'm still using GarageBand just because I think like they're definitely not up to par with everything, but like they do the job. They do what I need them to do. But then like Kyle showed me this free video software that has awesome capabilities. Have you heard of DaVinci, Ben?
You mentioned it a while back, and I was looking at it. I haven't been brave enough to see if my computer can handle it yet, because I kind of have my system already.
Anyway, I still am learning a ton as we go, as far as like video is one of those things that I really like video, and I would like to know more, to learn more how to capture it, and just add a good quality, and then capturing it, and then also exporting it in a way that's good quality is also another thing to learn. So I'm definitely learning all that as well. So I don't know. I think using that's why I like Mac. You know, it's like I feel like all the things they use are made to be user friendly, as well as the software that comes with them are user friendly. So that's definitely why I've invested in the things I have as far as Mac goes.
Yeah. So you said DaVinci. Have you dived into DaVinci? What I guess the question would be, what have you invested in, and it's been like worthwhile?
I just like the options. Like my only other option is I tried I did iMovie, and then I tried a subscription to the Adobe. I forget what it's called now. I didn't like it, and it also had a weird bug that ruined my speakers in my computer.
Oh.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
And so I was like, nope, I'm done. So, but like Apple fixed it for free. Thank goodness I'd only
Wow.
had it for a year. So after that, I was just went back to iMovie, and then Kyle showed me his DaVinci. That's what he worked
Yeah.
on with our video Color Dam. He used, there's a version, obviously, you subscribe to, I guess a pro version, but the free version, as far as limit, like iMovie kind of limits your ability to put text throughout your video,
Mm.
as well as like transitions and your export quality. Whereas DaVinci Resolve definitely has a lot more open, and it's still a lot more to learn. Like as far as like iMovie is awesome because it kind of limits you, and you feel comfortable knowing what you can do. And then DaVinci is like a huge step up from that. Like you can color it in a professional way. That's DaVinci's huge thing is their color grading.
Okay. Oh,
And
okay.
then yeah, their color grading capabilities are incredible. And then their export quality. I know in iMovie you can't export as high quality image as other programs. So that's been, but I still am learning how to do all that.
Yeah.
But I like it. I've made a few of my student videos with DaVinci, and it's been
Okay.
a pleasant experience. You can still
Nice.
get by with not knowing much, and still I feel like it's user friendly, but has the capabilities to go to the next level. So that's what I enjoy about it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you use do you use GIMP? Is that a video software? I'm
So
not sure what GIMP is.
yeah. So GIMP is free Photoshop, and
Oh, okay, gotcha.
it's. I guess I can kind of. Well, not while I'm talking. I'll show it in a second. I can only do one thing at a time. I'm realizing I just need to be humble and realize my brain only operates one thing at a time. So now I'm going to close my eyes and breathe. And you asked me about GIMP. GIMP is free Photoshop. So Photoshop is basically, it's just all about images. The video software that I use is very silly. It's a thing called Blender. And Blender is all about being kind of like a Pixar in a box. It's all about doing 3D modeling and like you can like make all the textures, and you can like create the lighting, and you have like a camera inside of that like digital world, or you can create pretty much anything as long, if you want to put in the time. And a part of them building that so that it's it is a Pixar in the box is that they wanted to make a like video sequencer, which is like kind of the video editing. And so that's just like happens to be a portion of an option. And so I just use that little sliver of that program, Blender, and I edit my videos in there. Yeah, there's some good color correction tutorials using Blender that I was pretty happy with.
Awesome.
Wow. That's
very cool.
That's next level. So I'm curious about kind of bringing it back to well, here we are on a live stream, like
Here we are.
and we experimented briefly with video for this. And so I wondered if maybe you could tell us a little bit about those capabilities and what you're dealing with, if it doesn't get too complicated. Like in a live streaming format, which I think is, I mean, I don't know. For me right now, I'm paying attention to live things. Like it's it's like my means of being connected to like community right now, to
Yeah.
feel like, oh, it's fine. Here we are, both in our little places, but we're connected. That's super powerful for me right now. And so, yeah, like what does that look like in this scenario where we have audio, and thank you for doing this. You're generating like an image that you're also updating as we're talking, which is really cool. And I don't know how you're doing that. So could you like tell us what you're doing? Also, I don't see it because I'm only in Discord. And so
Yeah,
like,
yeah. I'm not. Yeah, we were having trouble doing anything more than the bare minimum, which is what we're doing right now.
I think it's great.
Yeah,
Pretty cool.
it's simplified things, being humble, doing one thing. Yeah, I guess I kind of like chatted about it a little bit when we started. I can do a similar thing that I did, which was share my screen.
Cool.
This double screen that is happening is OBS. Now there isn't a double screen. OBS is another like free, it's open source broadcasting something. I think the most important thing to kind of understand is that this thing will allow you to mix audio and images and video together, and then you'll create a stream. And then what you need is a stream key. So you get a stream key, and that key allows your stream to get into the that allows you to get into the place that you want to stream. So like over here we have Twitch, and Twitch, I have the key to that stream. It's this long string of numbers. It's just the key. And so you go into your settings and you plug in that key, and then now your stream, once you hit the stream button, is going to race over to Twitch or wherever place you're trying to stream. It's going to knock on the door, and it's going to say it has the stream key. And then now it's going to it's going to open up that spot and then be there. Yeah, that's kind of a weird scenario. I said earlier that this program allows you to mix together images, video, and audio. That's so I just have kind of these backgrounds, and I have like the being able to share my screen. The audio is coming from Discord, as we talked before. So we're in a chat room in Discord, and all of our audio comes in streaming in through this channel. I get to like mix everybody together. And then what the odd thing that I have going on is that I have outboard gear. So all this audio is going into a kind of sophisticated multi-track soundboard, but it's an outdoor soundboard, and then I'm looping it back in so that I have it where I want. There's ways to do that internally in the computer, but that wasn't working for me earlier when I was trying to do it. So,
and that's what allows you to make cool sounds on your keyboard.
And then yes, that allows me to
give us an example.
I can give you an example.
A cool sound. Yeah. Yep.
There you go.
Magic.
It is magic. It's magic.
Whoa.
Yeah, I can put myself anywhere I want. I can be in a cathedral.
Oh, wow.
Blah blah.
Okay.
Okay.
Were you doing some Gregorian chant? Is that what that was?
Yeah, that's
Ooh.
my default.
Yeah.
There you go.
That was nice.
That's painful. It's a little too
So
soon.
great.
Oh yeah, you know what? That's a great topic. Let's change gears to music school.
Oh.
I got to
okay.
avoid music history.
You did?
I didn't
That's
take.
not even right.
I didn't take one music history class.
That's not right.
I know. What?
Yes.
I don't know about
What
that.
did I miss?
I can't.
Again,
So
you
much.
got Chris Shear on your first year, right? His
Oh,
first year.
poor man. Yeah, I did, and he's great. I had some great music history teachers. I actually really loved music history. That was one of my favorite classes. I just loved. I don't know what it was about it. It was like I was coming at it probably from a compositional mind, and so like to get just constant examples of, here's an example of like making it sound like this, or if you want to sound like in this era, just bring in these elements. And I dug that a lot. I just thought it was way cool. And just to see like the gradual, like somewhat progression of things, and like, I don't know, it was really neat. I like history anyway, though. I think that it's cool. What was your impression, Allie, of music history?
It was difficult for me, mostly because it was different than any of the other classes I've done. It was different. It was a combination of an English class and a music history class, which was interesting. I remember one time in class, he told us, we had a paper due. He's like, I am planning on using this whole red pen on your papers this weekend. Like, okay. He gets joy out of that kind of thing. But I did like, I feel like I at least got a B or better in his class.
Nice.
But it was like but it was all consuming. Like I had to read and read and read for any of it to. That's not my learning style. His teaching style was not my learning style. Nor did I feel like, I was just kind of in the guitar brain in school.
What's guitar brain look like?
Guitar brain is like, this doesn't.
What does that mean?
This doesn't apply to me.
Oh,
what, you know what I mean? Like,
okay.
I love, you know what I mean? Like, there wasn't any guitar pieces ever, which was, for me, it was sad. It was like my guitar brain just wanted, but I do see the usefulness of it. But it was, and I'm glad I did it, because it was a hard thing and I did it.
Yeah.
But
so,
like,
go ahead.
Yes, I don't think I really had a thought, so you can continue.
Well, I was just going to point out that the three of us kind of met in music school, and so that's why this topic came up. That like, I met Allie in a guitar ensemble years ago, as I was just finishing my degree, and Allie was maybe somewhere in the middle, possibly.
I was in the middle somewhere.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then, I guess I met Ben a little bit later. Were we in that audio engineering class?
Yeah. Yeah, that was the that was when we met.
Yeah.
Cool.
And I was just auditing that one. I think that was after my degree.
Yeah, right.
So I just audited that one years later, but
cool.
And then you two had met through the guitar program, or
Ben was really nice, and I had to take 2 classes at one time.
Yeah.
Guitar
they were,
pedagogy
in
the same time slot. Okay. Yeah. I had to take, I forget what the other class was, but he was really nice and recorded the lectures from guitar history while I did another class.
It might have been orchestration or something.
Oh.
Yeah, so because
Yeah,
I
we
was
had a
sick
little
of school,
a
and I
little
just wanted to get it done.
We had just a little tape recorder that you gave me. They were just asking the class
It
who would
worked
do
out
that.
really well.
I'd be like, oh, hey, that's what I know how to do.
That's nice.
Didn't know I asked the most qualified person in the room to record the lectures, but I had. So yeah, it worked out well, and then we just Ben was a cool dude, and so he helped me a lot.
Yeah, it's a
Nice.
good
It's where it all started.
That's cool.
time.
So, from that time, like Allie and I are in a project together. Ben and I are also doing this podcast together, and then separately we have our own projects. So, I also teach guitar. Allie teaches guitar. Ben, maybe tell us a bit about what you do.
Yes.
Ugh. Okay.
Ha!
I am. Yeah, I'm like a career audio guy, audio engineer. The mostly my bread and butter has been running sound. So live sound is my jam. It just fits. It fits my brain really well. I love how it's like it doesn't have any homework. It's like literally you show up and you make the best of it, and you just like how you handle yourself in the moment is the thing.
It's really cool. I like how you put that.
Yeah, and so that's where I'll on weekends I'll make I'll use that skill to make money. Right now I'm currently trying to like pursue a little bit more online things, like more of these like podcasts, as like Megan was talking about, as well as like I've developed some newer skills with websites, web design, and some like mild coding things. And so, yeah, just learning kind of all those skills for online work, like making nice looking images, like getting a stream going, like having a nice recording and getting that up and getting that out, like all that kind of stuff.
Cool.
Yeah. So I'm currently trying to pursue that. I'm trying, and I think the thing that I'm more passionate about is applying those skills to my friends who can like utilize those things. It's like I'm learning all these internet skills, but I don't really necessarily have anything that I feel so strongly about that it has to be out in the world. But like I see all my musician friends that I made through all this through all the schooling that I have, and they're just great. And there's people in the world that would just absolutely fall in love with the things that they're making and the things that they're doing. And but like they're a little bit too much of pure musicians to like be technically minded enough to make all those things, to be like business minded enough to do that, or to even be marketing minded to like grow like they would need to support what they're doing. And so yeah, so it's a side thing, but I think I'm like hoping for it to really be my thing, which is helping musicians get their stuff out there, like get their own kind of support for what they're making.
And I think, I mean, that's definitely a central part of why we're doing the podcast, and why, to create kind of also like a network of musicians that like we can help each other out. We can be learning from each other, and that is also a one of the purposes of this live stream. I think is also to just be like, all right, let's give this thing a try, and let's again be transparent about what we know and what we don't know, and what things we're using, and like how we're doing it, and what things we're coming up against, and what solutions we might have. And I don't know, I'm curious to see where things go as people are focused more online. I'm curious to see what kind of networking can happen, and like what kind of input we can draw. One interesting thing about live streaming is I don't know, there's like, I want to kind of explore, and maybe you know more about this, Ben and Allie, than I do, but the participatory aspect of live streaming, that like there can be a chat like going on, and you can be interacting with people. And I don't know anything about that, but I definitely want that. What does that look like? How do we tap into that?
Yeah, I'm I don't know. So okay, so this is where you're like starting to get out of my depths. I do. I mean, like, okay. Here's a great example. I just made so over here in the chat for Twitch, we have um,
Mm.
a mutual friend of ours, Chicken and Fish, who has also been on a HOWMcast podcast. Matt, and I've made Chicken and Fish a mod or a moderator. So like you have like this chat world, and so like when you stream, there ends up being this like kind of chat world, like a text thread. Um,
Yeah.
it ends up being pretty. It can be very like internety, very memey.
Mm.
I don't know what else I was trying to think. So like there's
Internety.
yeah, and so it's like
I like it.
yeah, I think you almost kind of have to commit to a certain platform because it's like Twitch has its own kind of feeling and its own people and like
Mm.
this kind of interaction. Chicken and Fish is claiming himself to be the Goderator. So there we go.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
There it was.
There we go, internet. It's complete with other, emojis and such. The yeah, and
Right.
there's a whole lot of other things that they like go on, and you have to like kind of dive yourself into that Twitch world to really kind of understand how those interactions happen. I don't know. You guys might be more familiar with like Instagram or something.
No,
I don't. Yeah, or
Facebook has been blowing up
interaction.
with live streams
Mm.
lately.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think you have to
For
pick
a lot of
one.
musicians are performing at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
It's just
So-
through live streams.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. Because I'm imagining myself, because I would like to continue to perform, and I'd like to do
Yeah.
live streams just of my music. And,
Yeah.
but like how, like what, I guess what platform is reasonable for me as a performer? Because I can't, like, if I'm playing the guitar and singing, I can't also check in and be the goderator.
Yes. Yeah.
And so it's like, what, like, do you need like to assemble a team, or do you like how accessible is this kind of thing to just like a person who just wants to try it out?
So you have a little bit of experience where you did an Instagram or you Instagrammed a show that you did, and I tried to like pay attention and like give advice, and you even did like a trial run on it. But I think you're right. I think you nailed it with you need a team. Like I think with live streaming, you don't really know. Like you can't sit there and try to make it entertaining. You can't make it entertaining and make sure everything is working at the same time, which is kind of wild.
Right.
So you have to have kind of a trusted person on the outside, like giving you advice. That's like I'm very happy with Chicken and Fish. Thank you very much for showing up, because that's one of the things I asked was like, it's like, okay, it's like, oh, I need Allie and I need Megan to be talking so that I can do all the technical stuff, and then I need somebody else who like can listen to the stream and make sure it's like okay, like help you with balance and things, balance audio wise. Sorry.
Nice.
Yeah,
Cool.
a team
So,
is,
like,
is great.
Content team, or content and engineering as like separate, like being represented both is what I'm hearing.
Sorry, I was reading a thing.
I would say
Okay,
also,
go ahead, please.
like, I think a lot of us just get in the way of ourselves with it too. A lot of people are just streaming without much. It's like they have their phones, and so they just do a
Right.
live stream from their phones.
Yeah.
And so and I'm sure as you develop, you'll get more finesse and more skills. And sometimes it's like, how's it sounding out there, guys? And
Yeah.
then you just get some feedback. So
Yeah,
I
that's
think
great.
I think it's like, if it's a matter of tech and equipment, it can often get in the way. And we think we need all this stuff, and I think you can just, it's not obviously going to be maybe as high tech, but I think you can grow. I think people would just like to see you. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
that's so good.
perfectionism trap.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Just like
Totally.
getting it,
That's
getting it out there and just trusting you're gonna get better as you go, type thing.
Totally. It sucks to not be good at the beginning. No one wants to like be like, okay, I got scratchy audio, but that's, you know.
Hey, it sounds like almost exactly like when I started performing. Like just live. Dang, I can hear how I should be sounding on this instrument.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Not quite there yet, but yeah, you get better.
Yeah, I think that is
Cool.
the advice, Allie. Like the first time you do anything, it's going to be bad. It's like you're fooling yourself if you think that you can just do something and be good at it. It's like the only way that you're going to get good at it is if you be bad at it like right now.
Yeah.
And just like
Yep.
and then every iteration you'll tweak like and get better. Yeah, I think this really applies
That
to
should just
oh yeah. What do you have? I think
continue.
I think it really applies with just becoming a musician, like you were saying, Megan. The you're playing your instrument, or you're inspired to learn an instrument, right? So you have your favorite artist, and you're just like, oh, that's why I want to make music. Like the artist that inspires you to make music, like you just like love that, and that's what you want to do. But like that comparison, and you're going to always want to compare yourself to that person, but like that's such a bad comparison because it's like it takes so long to get to that point, and so you can't let that be how you compare, how you motivate yourself whenever you're working. So like as much as I would definitely encourage like finding a streamer on the platform that you're into, like Twitch is an interesting world. I think it's a little bit like game heavy, but I think everybody here is like really generous, and like the communities are really great. I really enjoy that. Let's see, and like one of the best streamers, I think a really good streamer, if you can catch her, is Felicia Day. So Felicia Day, also known as the Queen of the Internet, she's just really good. She's very personable. She like the way that she addresses the camera is very like in like a intimate kind of friendly way. And yeah, I think she does good stuff. She knows how to like talk to herself in a way that doesn't sound weird. Yeah, very impressive. Very impressive.
Cool. I like that. That feels like a tagline of, in order to be good at something, you have to be. In order to be good at something later, you have to be bad at something now.
Yes.
That's so good.
Absolutely.
That's wonderful. And with that, I need to take off pretty soon here. So maybe Ben, will you tell us where to go to find more like info about what you're doing and what we are doing, and links and
shoot.
stuff?
Okay. Yeah. Mainly because we are on Twitch. Below is I have like the different icons. So there's the guest musicians. Those links should go to Megan's Patreon and Allie's Patreon and their combined band Mama Longlegs Patreon. I also have my own Patreon over there. I was kind of just throwing that out. And that's probably going to be the best place to go. The other one, I'll type it into the chat, is going to homebase.com. Homebase.com is it's going to be the collection of all the musicians I work with, all the musicians we have on the HOWMcast, on the podcasts, as well as whoever I work with personally to try to get try to get them migrated to online stuff. Yeah, and you can find individual musicians there to kind of fall in love with.
Nice. Hey, are you going to update Matt's profile to include the God Orator now?
Yes, of course, I have to. Although he could probably do that by himself.
For all your work.
If that's true.
Cool.
Cool. Yeah, well, we'll just sign
Thanks,
off.
Ben.
Yeah, thanks for this.
Thanks, Ben.
Thanks,
Thanks for
Allie.
this time.
I
Yeah.
like you guys.
Thank you, Allie.
This
Yeah.
has been great.
Yeah, we'll try to keep doing this. We're gonna build the plane from underneath us as we go, or I'm gonna try to. So this is excellent.
Nice.
Thank you guys very much.
Same.
Here,
Awesome.
yeah.
Be
This is.
well.
Yeah.
You want me to sign it off with the? This has been a HOWMcast. Visit the website homebase.com. There's link farms for cool musicians, and thank you for hanging out. There you go. Okay. Bye.
Bye, you guys.
Bye.